let's go to the short story. I got into music just basically singing a cappella in Cuba as a young kid. Eventually, people got to notice what I did, and got invited to different like government official events. Started singing there all of a sudden. I found myself singing for the president. Then I found myself in a big band, and then I was doing tours in Cuba and Mexico, and then in Canada. And it kind of spiraled from there, where I became a full-time musician. Moved to Canada. Worked as a full-time musician in Toronto. Did the Canadian Idol, and took a break from music. Came back to music, and here we are. That's the short story.
What brought you to New Brunswick?
My children
Yeah.
that I have now, is just a family thing. But prior to that was also music. So when I was doing the tour with the big band from Cuba, we were doing an East Coast tour. So at the time we came to St. John, and in St. John they used to have a festival called Festival by the Sea.
Yeah.
So we played there, and I met people there, and it just kind of, that's where I kind of created my first roots in Canada. And when I moved back to Toronto and I became a mom a couple of years after, went back to St. John because it made sense. That's where my kids were born. Actually 3 of them were born there.
Oh wow,
So,
that's cool. Yeah.
So it's just, afterwards, even though to be honest, when I first moved to New Brunswick, I was not a fan, because it's just, when you're an immigrant, you're looking to have something that is similar a little bit to your culture, just for comfort.
Right.
And at the time, there were not a lot of resources for me as a new immigrant. There were not a lot of resources for me as a musician. So funny enough, it's like I created for myself a spot in New Brunswick. But it took time to get there, so.
I find that the way that you put that, I think it's important sometimes to take not necessarily a break, but the space to understand maybe why you're doing what you're doing, or to kind of see the bigger picture, so that you're actually working hard on the things that will help you or your family, or right, because we all need to make a living, and it's hard nowadays, like you said. There's so much, and we're all fighting for the attention span of others. So I think it's really interesting how you put that.
It's it took a lot of growing up,
I
think, to kind of figure that out too. And it's very easy, especially because I was so young, on your teens or your 20s, it's very easy as a musician to try to get to a spot that you're being shot in your face. Meaning, you try to be the Beyonce, or you try, and that's not even me, right?
Right.
But your idea of music completely changes somehow sometimes.
That's true.
If you just take a break and kind of realize exactly what is it that you started doing music for, then, as I said, then you create your spot, or you create your lane, or you get into the lane that works for you, I guess.
Yeah, fair point. And I think, we were at the Much Music screening the other night for a documentary, and they were talking about, artists nowadays. It's harder because there are good artists out there, good bands, musicians, but with social media, especially now, the expectations of some of those artists aren't as hardworking maybe as others. So they expect viral video for their one single to blow them up, and then they're on a worldwide tour. And
that's awesome, but that's not realistic.
But that's not realistic, and it doesn't necessarily show like the work ethic or integrity of how those things get created, or being behind the scenes in the studio and working with really great people who can help bring you to the next level. And I think that that's really important, especially now in 2023. And I think that's why we love working with Music New Brunswick, is they're such a big facilitator in helping artists get, whether it be funding or resources, a workshop. Really, if you ask them for something, if they don't have it, they'll likely find someone that can. And I do really appreciate that about people who roll their sleeves up and help people. I really do appreciate that, and I admire that. So, and I find your hustle to be clear, just to let the Strange Crew know, we know a lot about Dee. We've heard about Dee, like I said, a lot, and we know her career quite well, and it's an honor for us to be talking with you today. But like I said, it's funny to be in Moncton of all places. You think we would have been in Paul's studio or something, right? So it's very cool to be able to kind of see how you've evolved both your music and your business strategy, and kind of how you're leading into it now. Can you talk a little bit more about that, like for maybe some artists who might be listening?
So I guess I don't have any strategy. That's a lie. I'm doing things that feels right here. That
Okay,
feels
yeah.
right in my core.
Okay.
In the sense of, I don't like calling it strategy because I really don't sit down and have a piece of paper and say, okay, I'm gonna do this, this, and this.
Right.
But I do have a book.
Yeah.
And in my book, I write my goals, right? So, one of my goals was to get nominated for an ECMA when I first started
Right.
back into music. And I wrote it down. And then I just started looking at how can I get there? Because magic doesn't work. It's just, you have to put it in
and
work, right?
yeah, exactly.
So I said, okay, you do this and you record, and then maybe you start posting more on social media. Maybe you need to get more involved in the music scene in New Brunswick versus just recording it.
Right.
Maybe you need to, I don't like TikTok, right? I don't. I enjoy watching it. I don't
Right.
like being in it.
Yeah.
But maybe once in a while, just put a little something out there.
Yeah.
And not necessarily wait to have your full band do an acoustic
Right.
show.
Yeah.
So I wrote all of those things.
Yeah, and I think that's the best.
And I got there, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just at this point, I'm in the point of my career where I just want to showcase me.
I love that.
And showcase. And if anything ever happened to me tomorrow, because tomorrow is not promised, I know that I feel good about the things that I did on earth, right? Like if God gave me an opportunity to sing and tell my story through music, then as long as I'm doing that, I think that is my strategy, right? Just follow the path that is laid out for me. So not always is clear, but right now to me is very clear. It feels, the things that I'm doing, it feels good, so I'm just going to do them. So another thing, I wanted to learn more about the music business rather than just being an artist, which got me stuck for a long time.
Right. Yeah.
And so I also wanted to do the workshops that Music New Brunswick had available. And that opened up another door for me to start walking through that path because I had the information.
Well, and you know how to nurture those goals and
That's
who to
it.
talk to, where to be, what networking receptions to be at to actually get those results. And I think that's the best strategy, even though there might not be one, it's the best one to have, right?
The thing is that if, again, going back to being a younger and what you see on TV, which is unfortunately, a lot of information comes from that.
Yeah.
For me, especially as an immigrant and as a new person in Canada, we have created this romanticism that somebody comes from nowhere and this producer with all kinds of contacts and very advanced and with money comes and just scoops you up and brings you to this place where you are famous and you're very successful and everybody knows about you, and the reality is that person is you.
Facts. Yeah.
That is just you.
Yeah.
And hopefully, the musicians that are involved in your project just loves it as much as you do, which I am fortunate to have. And the same thing, the people that are working with you. But at the end, like you said from the beginning, we all fighting for the attention and we all fighting to get forward and to be seen. So my strategy is just to learn as much as possible about this business.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Without taking away the love for the art and the reason why I do it in the first place, and that for me is therapy. Right, music is therapy. It's a way to express myself. It's a way to bring some love to the world. It's a way it's a spiritual journey for me. I know I sound kooky, but that's all good. It's right. So that's my strategy. Just do the things that feels right, learn about it, and walk whatever it is that you need to walk and learn, and do exactly what you're learning in the process, and show people what you got. Social media, it is a huge help.
Yeah.
Although there's a lot out there, so it's like kind of get lucky. And often people say, well, you need to be creative. But then if creative is good in social media, if it's authentic, right? But right now, like there's this video on TikTok, which I can't believe. Like there's these two girls and they're running and they're singing this song. Like that's genius, right? And all of a sudden the song blew up. But it wouldn't make sense for me to start running and remember those days running, like one of my songs, right? So that's authentic to them. What's authentic to me is that I'm a mom. I might be singing in my kitchen, people like to see the reality of artists.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right?
And your creativity, I mean, it might just be my own opinion, but I think that should be focused for your music.
That's it.
And if you want to have a bit of off the cusp, humor or showing your side, we say this in our marketing company, is it's like showing your home, and your home has multiple rooms, and you can show them different variations of what's in that room in different ways.
Right.
And it doesn't have to just be music all the time, or your favorite things, or your dog, or your kids. It can be a mix of that. And if
Yes.
people really do want to come along for that journey and be a fan, I think they become those fans that tell even more people about your music, and they're more qualified people that
Right.
come to shows. And we say that about like having, big followings. It's great to have a lot of followers, but how many will come to your
That's
award
it.
show? How many
It's
come
about
up to
quality.
the five and dime? What about the butts and seats? How does that translate? And I think people, especially nowadays, really want to connect with somebody who's a hard worker, who is connected to family, who wants to come out and play a show, and is realistic about the fact that it's tough and it takes time. And I think that that's exactly what people are looking for now. So I think you hit the nail on the head on that. And I say, not because we are also in the marketing space, but keep doing that. And I think leave the creative to a lot of people that love to do creative.
Right.
And keep that focus on your music.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing I might have probably learned from Paul, is to
Yes.
figure out what's going to make you work the hardest but the smartest on the things that are going to convert for you. And that was a game changer for a lot of the bands and artists we've been working with.
Yeah.
Is just creating, and like you said, it sounds crazy, but creating content that is actually legit and real.
And
and
true,
and
yes.
people don't want to
Totally.
hang out with a Kate that's doing crazy TikTok dances that
And
aren't
I'm tired.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
we're over it, right? We're over
I'm
it.
tired. Like I'm not, in the middle of the night, I have a 5-year-old who wakes me up still. And do you think I really want to go and then try to just create these things just for the fun of it?
No, we'd be like AI robots if we were all
Yes,
just a content
yes,
opportunity.
yes, no.
Content opportunity,
Everything
right?
is content.
Right?
No, that's not me. So, I think I'm lucky to say that I have a really. Also, you have to look at the people that are listening to you. Most people that are listening to me are not young, 15, 17, 20-year-olds, right? So keep in mind as well
Right.
who my listeners are, right? And respect that very much, because I appreciate the time that they take to listen to my music, and the time they take to even go on my social media and comment and give me a little push. At times you feel down about your progress.
Right.
And I have no problem saying something on my social media, and the second I do that, somebody who does listen to me was like, Dee, I was just listening to Remember Those Days, or Dee, I was just listening to Crazy Love.
Right.
And you're doing amazing, just keep doing what you're doing. That
That
to me
helps, yeah.
is like a stamp saying, I am making music for the right people.
So for those listening, whether they're already fans, whether they have not heard of your music, or maybe they don't know what's going on, can you tell us a little bit about what's coming up in the future that maybe people, or how they can get involved or listen to your tunes?
Yes, definitely. I just actually came out with an EP.
Woo woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just gotta chill. It's a dream come true. There were songs there that I started writing when I was 19 years old.
Oh,
and I was
wow, Dee, that's awesome.
I was so afraid to show it to people.
Yeah.
Because it's not one thing or another, and I always wanted to be one thing or another when I was younger, right? So I finally accepted that this is who I am, and I had the courage to share it, and it's very me, right?
That's great.
So that's what's happening right now, and I just came out with a single as well. It's called Just Friends, which has a lot of Afro-Cuban influence with funk and R&B. So it's a perfect fusion of the two worlds that I have lived so far.
Yeah.
And right now we're just focusing on just booking for next summer. I just had a crazy summer, and I'm very grateful to say that.
Yeah, but sometimes you just got to go. And then it's already looking into 20, and it's hard.
I'm already doing that. I'm already applying for different festivals. I love playing festivals. I don't know if every musician does, but I shake thinking about
Oh, that's awesome.
about festival season. I love it. And just booking. I do acoustic shows in the winter, so I'm looking for that already as well. So I don't have, actually, yes, I'm playing next weekend in St. John for
Ooh.
El Dia de los Muertos. So it's a celebration,
Yeah.
a Mexican celebration, the Day of the Dead. So I'm going to be there with the band.
You guys better be going because you know that we're going to be there.
Yes,
It's St.
on the
John.
20th.
We're going to pull up. That's
Yep.
what's up.
Yes, on the 28th. And I'm really looking forward because Eddie's face is going to be all painted with beautiful
So
flowers.
cool.
Yes,
really
Queen.
looking
We
forward to
love
it.
that.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm curious. I'm gonna seg into this because I know it's a big part of our interview. I wanna know about the music you like. I want to know about what you're listening to. I want to know what you think we should be turning people on to. Tell us the goods, Dee.
So I'm very eclectic with my listening, right?
Yeah.
So being Cuban, I listen to a lot of Cuban music. There is these artists from Cuba who live in Toronto, who are amazing, and their band's called Ocan. I'm a big fan, like too much of a fan. Daime Arocena, who's also was living in Canada, but she moved to Puerto Rico, and she's also Cuban, and she's amazing. Now, if you're thinking about North American music, I'm everywhere, and I'm still in the 40s and the 50s. I'm a huge Ella Fitzgerald, so I tend to go back to that
Right.
a lot, and a lot of Dizzy Gillespie. So that's what I'm
Cool.
at right now. And I actually, when you asked me that question earlier, just behind the scenes there, I looked at my phone, and I've been listening to a lot of Esperanza Spalding, her first album.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So I know I don't sound very fun.
Oh,
It's not like
Those are
very-
Yeah, right.
I think that's the first time Ella Fitzgerald's been brought up on the show.
Yeah, no.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It don't mean nothing if you ain't got that swing. Like I was
Yeah.
listening to that last night. So
That's so cool.
yeah. So that's what I've been listening to. If we are thinking about New Brunswick wise, I've been listening to 180 a lot because it has lyrics that inspires you, and it is uplifting.
Yeah.
Right? It's also positive and is wise words that of wisdom that we probably should all listen to. So
especially nowadays, it's good just to
Yes,
have that
yeah.
extra message cadence of good. Sometimes the days can be pretty hectic. So
Yes. And
No.
I listened, try to every morning to listen to high frequency music. So
okay,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay. I have one more question before we wrap up because I'm just really, really, really curious.
Yes.
I want to know the best show you've ever seen.
the best Mark Anthony.
Okay.
It was
Tell
one-
me, baby girl,
Oh
because
my-
I
my-
need to know.
Look,
I
I'm
need
getting
to
chills.
know.
He's so listen. I went to see him just right before the masking time.
Yeah.
You know, COVID in Montreal,
Oh, okay. Wow.
and it was completely sold out. And the way that he performs, it makes you feel that he's singing just to you.
I've heard that actually
It's
from a
just
couple of
you.
people. I've heard that,
It's-
and it seems even just in interviews and everything, he's just got such a high integrity, high work ethic that he just seems like a good guy
Yeah.
to work with.
Yeah.
So and I can only imagine the energy of the show. If you like high vibrations,
Yes.
you were probably just like
I was
moving and
dancing,
grooving.
My body hurt the next day. But
Oh
that's
my
okay.
goodness, you're in like a body brace.
But if I could see somebody right now, it would be Erica Badu, because I'm a huge fan. I would love to cover every single one of her
Oh,
songs
man,
just
yeah.
to do it. So
Her fashion, the last like
That
I've been
too.
and.
that's everything.
Forever has been amazing, but I've been
Yeah.
noticing a little bit more in the media the last like
Yes.
month or so, and I was like, damn,
Yeah.
that's pretty dope.
Yeah, and again, that's somebody also who has a lot of words of wisdom as
Yeah,
well in her
yeah.
music. So yeah, I listen to a lot of music on the daily basis.
On the
and it's-
daily, yeah.
and it's-
So where can people find your music? I want people to be listening and out just streaming. I want them buying. I want them going to your 2024 shows. So where can they find you?
So they can find me on any streaming platform. So my music is available. It's Dee Hernandez. My new EP is called the Dee Salsa Project.
Ooh.
Um,
Do you teach salsa too?
I do. I'm a
Oh
dance
shit!
teacher.
We really want to learn.
Yeah.
We're doing
Strange
it.
salsa.
I like that.
I like it
I
too.
really like that. We should do that.
Like
sometime.
costume salsa dancing.
I'm sold.
All right, let's go.
I'm in. And
You heard it here first.
I love it. And so you can find me anywhere. I also have a website, Dee Hernandez Music. You can go there, and I usually tend to update that as much as I can. But yeah, you can stream me anywhere. You can purchase it as well on Amazon, so my new project there.
buy it.
Yes, please do. But I anticipate, not that I can know the future, but I anticipate playing a lot of festivals this summer. So just keep your eye out.
Keep your eyes
Keep your eyes
out.
out. So applying for a few different things, on different awards. Like I didn't get anything on this Music New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Even though I had 3 nominations, but somebody asked me yesterday on CBC, do you think is that something that you need to have? I don't need an award. I need to be exposed, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was on itself was
Yeah.
a good experience, and also for being an immigrant and a Black woman, it was nice to see somebody like me represented
Right.
Yeah.
within that as well. So
I think it's so important too with a lot of our new population and
Mhm.
youth, just to also see that representation and to
Yes.
know that there's resources as well.
that's
And
it.
I might just be speaking for you here, but you seem like a very, very kind, sharing person. And I'm sure if there are young people or anybody that have a question, please go follow Dee and
Yes.
just connect. And
Yes.
I think that it's good for us to share resources and things in the ecosystem, because it helps us kind of take away some of the mistakes and the
Absolutely.
cost of spend, and actually helps us get out there and
Mhm.
have people to play shows with and stuff. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Dee, for
No,
joining
thank you
us.
for having
We
me.
really, really appreciate
Yes,
it. And we're
another
going to be
check
pulling up
mark.
to the show, and we definitely will be following up on Strange Salsa, because
Yes.
I really want to learn.
Yes, and the same thing, social media, I'm everywhere. So if anybody would like to just connect that way, please do.
All right.
Please.
Well, until next time, keep it strange.